Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Power Talks with Pia Arcangel, where today we're speaking with one of the country's most acclaimed film directors of all time and truly recognized here and abroad. We're very happy to have him on the show with us. We're speaking of none other than Direk Eric Mati.
Film what you know, and I think it's logical that you know how authentic it feels when you know it's a person you know. You love the idea of someone who's sitting there somewhere in Timbuktu, right, or in Bangladesh, discovering your film and saying, "Oh my God, I'm that guy. I'm Gerald Anderson. I'm Gerald Anderson in On the Job." Yan yung problema yung iba eh. They use cinema to talk about just one kind of ideology of whatever socio-political stance they have. When I tackle socio-political stories, it's really to present as much of it as you can to both sides of the argument. And you leave the audience to decide. But there is one particular film that I could have had made it, but eventually ended up rejecting it. And it came out as one of the most classic assassin movie ever. Direk, I wanted to be a filmmaker when I saw On the Job. Yan yung mga magagandang comment. It makes sense naman pala yung pinagagagawa natin. Everyone's just churning out content over and over and over and over. Na parang sa dami, I'm sure ikaw hindi mo napapanood.
How would you describe in one word the Philippine film industry?
Flatlining.
Hi, Direk. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Direk, nako, thank you for joining us today. Kakamustahin muna namin kayo. What's keeping you busy these days? Because ang dami naming naririnig, sequel for On the Job, sequel for Bypass. Mukhang marami kayong niluluto, Direk.
Yeah, I'm going in and out of shooting. So it's between preparations, shooting, and of course, we have a studio, Reality MM Studios. It's a production company. So we're also overseeing several projects, not just for me, but for other directors as well. So medyo busy. I just came from a 1 month and 10 days na shoot in Zambales with Ann Curtis. So ang haba ng shoot namin. We got back siguro mga 2-3 weeks ago. So yan.
So, Direk, pwede natin sabihin kung ano yung project na yon that you were shooting with Anne?
So I'm currently doing the 9-episode series for Netflix, by Bust. It's a movie that was licensed by Netflix way back in 2018 or 2019. And lately, during the pandemic, they got in touch with us and they wanted to do a series version of it. So we converted the movie into a series. It's a 9-episode series that's for Netflix Global. Kung napanood nyo yung unang movie, wala naman talagang malalim na kwento. It's one way in, one way out. No? The idea of Buy Bust was really more experiential. How it feels to go into a place where there's a lot of unknowns, and it's a team of soldiers trying to stop an exchange of drugs. The attempt is really to go experiential, visceral, chaotic. So we had nothing to start with when we were asked to do a series. So with that, we reimagined the world of Nina Manigan, which is the lead character. So we based everything on Nina. Where would Nina be at this point in the story? So our story starts off exactly how many years when the first movie was shown, 2019. So it starts off exactly this year. Which is 2025.
Direk, you mentioned na eto nga, this was something that Netflix asked you to do. Ngayon kasi, di ba, Direk, medyo mas common na that there are the international streaming sites asking Filipinos or Filipino filmmakers to produce for them, or
Yeah.
yung pag-stream ng Filipino productions. But I remember a time, Direk, when it was not so common yet, not quite
Yes.
common, and you were the first, if I'm not mistaken, to actually provide content for an international film outfit or production outfit. And I'm speaking of HBO. Tama
Yeah.
po ba, Direk, for On the Job?
Yeah. Yes. Well, I did a few series with HBO, which was Food Lore and Folklore. And I'm part of it, usually has 8 episodes. So I'm part of 8 filmmakers in 8 different territories in Asia, telling a story about food in food lore, and telling a story of our folk stories in folklore. So I represented the Philippines on those 2 series. And that's how I got to know HBO. And that's how OTJ eventually landed um, with a deal with On the Job, the series.
But what was the initial feeling, Direk, when you first landed the job, kumbaga, na parang wow, ito yung On the Job, ilalagay natin sa HBO.
Yeah, it starts with small increments. No, like for example, when we first launched On the Job way back in 2012, we went into in the Cannes Film Festival, no, in Directors Fortnight, and then we got some deals to show the film theatrically, eventually landing in New York for a theatrical release. So ang increments na sinasabi ko is for the first time, Netflix US, way before any of us sold any project to Netflix, Netflix US bought OTJ and stayed with them for 5 years. So that's 2012 until 2017. No? So that was your first parang pride, no? Parang oh, galing ha, Netflix picked us up. You know how it feels like when you're an obscure filmmaker from a third world country, and you feel that you're so far away from the central hub of filmmaking, and then your project gets noticed, no? So parang masaya. And then eventually, of course, lives moved on, and I met a guy, Eric Koo, who's another filmmaker. He was a jury for one of the festivals for On the Job. He's a Singaporean director, and he really loved the film. And when Folklore came about, he asked me to do one episode for Folklore because it was through a Singapore HBO. So yun, nakapasok din. And then, of course, Food Lore came in, and Food Lore was parang the feeling that, oh, I got it because of merit. No? Na parang I was just surprised. I was emailed, and they said, would you like to do an episode of Food Lore? And, so natuwa kami. Natuwa ako.
You've already participated as a, ano bang tawag doon, Direk? Juror, judge,
Yeah.
in the Emmys?
Yep. Well, the reason why I got into the Emmys as a juror is because OTJ was nominated for the International Emmys for the best miniseries last 2 years ago.
Mhm.
So we went to New York. We were nominated against 4 other titles, and we didn't win, but we wanted to see how it feels like to be there. And it's a masaya kasi it's a gathering of people who make series from all over the world, not just Asia, but even Latin America, Africa, UK, French, except the Hollywood entertainers, no, and producers. So it was great to meet people. Japan, Korea
Mhm.
was there.
So,
So it was great to see all these people and get to know them.
pero kayo lang po ba
No,
ang
not
Pilipino?
necessarily. Like last year, when I was asked to be a jury member, a juror, they wanted to find out if I'm interested. So
Mhm.
it's not like because you were part of the awards the previous year that automatically you're forced to be a jury member. So
Oh,
not
okay.
necessarily, but of course you want to be part of it because you want to see how many of us get the chance to see, the many productions that are being done in other parts of the world. uh, ang hirap maghanap, di ba? You don't have
Mhm.
the chance. So it's always good when you become a jury member, you get copies of those and you get to watch it and enjoy it. At the same time, you're also working, no?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how would you describe yung Filipino films in comparison to films from other countries? Meron nga ba talagang tinatawag na Filipino style?
Uh, well, of course, even the Mexican and the Latin American that's closest to our culture, no, in terms of attitude, in terms of personality, in terms of characters, even the kind of pace that they have, no, medyo magulo, chaotic, ganon. But what's obvious really is their budgets are so high. So
Yun yung
parang,
pagkakaiba.
oh, parang they have more budget, they have a bigger story, mas medyo sleek, no? But not all the time. Like for example, the one that won during that year is a British series, The Nanny, I think. It's kind of a small domestic drama about a nanny who's having a domestic problem with her husband and her family. It's pretty small, pretty much like a Mike Leigh kind of movie that's very social realist in a British setting. So yun naman, parang you don't see that it's quite different from our kind of shows.
Mhm.
But of
Mhm.
course, more subtle. The emotions are more restrained. No?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, direct, I mean, nakapag-red carpet na kayo sa Emmys and your films have been released internationally and so many successful films already in your resume. Uh, is this something that you had wanted to do all your life? Bata pa lang kayo gusto niyo
I'm
na maging
a I'm
filmmaker.
a I'm a big movie watcher. And then my dad brought me to the cinemas. And mostly the movies I'm watching are the mga Alexander Fusheng, yung mga Shaolin dati, no? The spaghetti westerns, si Bud Spencer and Terence Hill, di ba? I remember that movie Cry Onion na
Mhm.
every time parang Popeye, every time they eat onions, parang they get the courage to fight their enemies. Ganon. So, as a young boy, we as a family, we love watching movies. And then when I got to college, I shifted into theater. So I was in LaSalle. Um, ito, magandang kwento kasi fourth year high school ako. I applied sa UP and sa Ateneo. So I applied because I thought I wanted to be in Manila to study. So I got into UP and then to Ateneo. And then it dawned on me, I don't know anybody. I'm a provinciano. And alam mo yun? And my sister was the one who convinced me. And she said, why are you scared? And I said, I don't know. I wanted to do theater on the side, but I don't know anybody in UP or in Ateneo. Hay, alam mo, lasal ka na lang sa Bacolod. Lahat Ilonggo, may theater group sila. Diyan ka na mag-aral, hindi ka pa lilipad sa Manila, hindi ka pa sakit ng ulo sa atin. Yan. So I eventually ended up in LaSalle. And I
Mhm.
joined the theater group since first year college until fourth year college, and did a lot of plays, no? A lot of classic plays, mga um, Paraisong Parisukat, um, Waiting for Godot, mga
Ah.
gano'n, no? We also did Candide, which is
Mhm.
the Sartre play, no, musical. So So I was into that. And then eventually, parang malapit lang naman. And later on, when I started directing the theater plays, I realized when I'm directing, para siyang pang pelikula. It's not really a play-play. Di ba? Yung parang, I make a big issue on music, on the color of the set and the design, the lighting, mga ganun. So I realized, I think I really want to be in the movies. But I wasn't finishing my college. I stayed 6 years in college and still wasn't done. And I was just happy that si Peke Galiaga didn't know I was not a graduate yet
Mm.
because he doesn't accept non-graduates sa team niya. And then I started working sa mga workshops, and then he saw me and then he said, you want to work in Manila? So I said, immediately, I said yes without asking sa sweldo, ganun. So I ended up working in Manila. It was only a year or two later that he found out I didn't have a diploma.
But by then, too late na.
Too late. I was already here.
Was there ever any resistance from your family about you joining the film industry?
The first time I had a pushback from my family was I my mom wanted me to be a nurse. So at that point, when I was a first year college, my sister was already graduating for medicine. So she was ready to go to the US. She's now based in the US as a doctor. And my mom was already thinking, you should be a nurse because your sister is a doctor. You go to the States, you're not. So I did one semester of nursing.
Mm. Talaga, direct. First year college po ba yun?
Oh, first year college. I did one sem of nursing and then I found, what am I doing here? Sabi ko, gusto ko talaga mascom. So silently, I shifted without telling my mom. So it was only later when she was asking, kailan ang capping? Di ba may capping yung, yung nursing? Yung second year, pag second year mo yun, parang you're gonna go serious on being a nurse. Bibigyan ka ng parang cap,
Ah.
parang semi-graduation. Sabi niya, parang magti 3 years na wala pa rin capping. Wala ka pa rin, gano'n. So doon na ako umamin na sorry pero wala, I moved to another course. When my third day, yan yung first pushback, sabi ng tatay ko, ha? Nag-mascom ka? Ka dancer? Kasi idea, nobody knew what mass communication was, no? So,
Mm.
akala nila yung mascom, yung sasayaw ka or ano yun. So that was the first pushback. And then what I'm really proud of was when I left Bacolod. When Peke already hired me, I started out as a continuity supervisor. So it's the lowest, it's the closest to the director, but it's the lowest position on the director's side, no? So when I left Bacolod, I told everybody in the house, sabi ko, and I was 22 years old. Sabi ko, before I'm 30, I'm gonna be a director. Ayun! Lahat ng tao, bahala na doon. Alis ka lang. Ganun. So umalis ako. I became a director when I was 27. And my dad died siguro when I was 29 or 30. So parang he was able to see my first film. My first film. Which hindi naman siya parang raving, no? Kasi first film ko Scorpio Nights 2 eh. So lahat rent ko sa kanya action, mga gano'n. So parang siguro naisip niya, ha? Ba't kaya ito yung nagawa? Bro, nakita ko naman na proud naman siya na parang, finally nag-direct ka, no? Because I used to borrow all the VHS and Betamax tapes for him, no?
Mm.
Discovered Commando for him, the Schwarzenegger movie, First Blood of mga ganon, no? Action movies. We're a big family. There's six of
Ah,
us. So,
okay.
as the youngest, parents don't usually, parang hindi nila nahahanap yung youngest, di ba? He must be somewhere here in the house. No? So,
So, but at least direct nakita nyo rin the pride that your parents had when
yeah,
eventually you
yeah,
showed
yeah.
them your first film.
And my
So,
mom acted
mhm.
in a lot of my films before she
Oh,
passed
really?
away. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which films
She
direct?
loved to because she was in growing up, she kept on telling us, watch Oro Plata Mata, I'm there as a labandera, ganun, ganun. So when I became a director, I always use her
Oh.
for my movies. As an extra, as a, as a guest, as a
Mm-mm.
friend of the nanay of the bida, mga
May TF naman yun, direct.
TF naman. Pero sobrang liit.
So speaking of you casting your mom in different films, direct, I remember I read that you always base your characters on people you've either encountered or people that you know. So because you like to make films that are really very character driven. Pag ganun ba, direct, parang for me, that suggests that you're a very observant person. So, minsan ba, direct, kumari, nakikipagkwentuhan ka, in a normal setting, parang you just pick up an idea or parang may flashbulb moment ba na parang, ay, pwede ko itong i-incorporate itong character na to in my next film.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's really hard. I abide by whoever said it. I forgot, no, by the filmmaker who said, "Film what you know. You cannot film what you don't know." Of course, there's another filmmaker also saying, in order to be always ready and careful, film what you don't know, because then it forces you to study harder and figure out what you don't know and put it, and find out more. So those are two different schools of thought. But I really adhere, like for example, Scorsese. He did his first. It's not his first movie, but his first movie that he was proud of, Mean Streets, because he used to do movies, B movie, exploitative movies. He did Boxcar Bertha with Roger Corman. No, Roger Corman gave him a break, but it was Roger Corman who gets his way on the kind of films that you're gonna make. So the first film that he made that he was so proud that because it was personal is Mean Streets. And the reason why he did it, and he said, you can you can turn them upside down, all the characters of Harvey Keitel, Robert De Niro, because I knew them since I was a child. They are people I met growing up in Brooklyn, growing up in New York, and I know them as clear as I can, and I know what they're gonna do. Their next moves are, and that stuck with me. Na parang yeah, you can only know how an actor would deal with it, especially here sa Pilipinas. Ng actor natin don't really, I mean, parang they just scrape the surface of the character because marami silang racket, di ba? They move from one project to the next. Unlike in the US, you have Daniel Day-Lewis, 6 months before doing a movie, he stays in a carpenter's house, learning how to, how to build a house, yung mga ganon. So, yun, film what you know. And I think it's logical that you know how authentic it feels when you know it's a person you know,
Mhm.
as opposed to somebody you don't know. So you're just imagining how the character would react, would decide on things, or would eventually be motivated.
I would imagine also, direct, na your characters in all your films, and even your films for that matter, are like your babies. Na
Mm.
parang, syempre kasi, you gave birth to that idea, kumbaga. What to you is the most personal film or project that you've ever made? Or is the most closely linked character to you?
Parang madami na sila ngayon.
Marami, ang dami yun ng anak, kumbaga.
I'm always asked that question, no? And I did way back when I stopped making movies, which was 2009, I think, and focused on advertising. And then it got to a point where I was so tired of advertising that I was looking to go back into making movies. And with the money I saved from advertising, I produced a film that I didn't show anywhere. The title of the film is The Arrival. So it was, when as an artist you want to do it your way with total control of things, and you don't care whether it comes out good or not. So that's that project. What I did with that project, The Arrival, is I did a an improvisation for 10 actors for 15 days. day in, day out, we do scenes. I have a list of scenes I wanted them to make, and then I record them all, yung scenes. And then there's a transcriber. After that, I put the story together and made it into a script. And then I got actors to do it using the lines of the people I worked with in the workshop. Parang ganon. No? So
Ah,
it's a bit authentic. Yung dialogues are, sometimes the dialogues repeat itself. Okay lang. Because, di ba, as a writer, you're aware not to be redundant, not to be, but in real life, sometimes you keep on saying the words over and over again, no? To convince someone or to make a point or to underline a thought. So I did that. I showed it in CCP for one night only, and then I kept it to myself. Na walang ibang nakapanood. I invited only 500 people, 500 friends.
wala kayong balak to re-show that direct?
We're looking at making our YouTube channel a little bit more hardworking.
Mm.
So in the office, they're now talking about maybe we should open with that film that no one saw. Right.
Para,
Ito, napaka lo-fi ng Arrival, no? Yung parang I shot it with a small camera, uh, and half of it is in Ilonggo. I had a beautiful soundtrack. I contacted, and even if I didn't know them, I called 10 singers and then showed them the film. And then I told them, pick a song you want to do. I put a temporary track, 10 songs in the film. There's no music in the film except songs.
Mhm.
The 10 songs, I already placed a temporary track on those songs and then on those parts of the film. And then I had um, composer friend who was overlooking, talking to the singers, and they picked which song they were gonna, I want a song of Going Away. I want this song of, and then the composer wrote a song for them in collaboration with the singers, and then they recorded it. I remember I only paid all of them 10,000 each. So Noel
Pumayag na.
Ramon, Joey Ayala, Cookie, Chua,
Napakabigati naman pala ng mga singers yun
grabe
direct.
yun, Rico J, Puri.
Pero direct, napaka-interesting nung pagkaka-describe niyo yun kung paano niyo ginawa. Parang, it's not the usual, I mean, I guess iba-iba rin kasing style yan. Like, kumari kami, for example, we're trained to write to video. Kasi nga, we're doing the news eh. So,
Yep, yep.
syempre, we write based on something that already happened. Pero kayo, you write like based on imagination, which is so interesting for me. Parang, it
Puri.
sounds
Yeah.
very daunting to me. Parang kang may blanco, a really blank canvas, and then you just come up with your own ideas. But
Well,
is the artistic process for you direct always the same or does it differ like
it
per
differs.
era?
But I think the process that I've come to, to follow since then is really the idea of being open to inspiration or to reroutes, to going left or going right, without being too much of a stickler to what you've already imagined. For me, that's the biggest mistake of a filmmaker. You can go as strict as you can. I want to see the sunset behind Pia in the shot, right? You can be a stickler to that because it means a lot for the scene, right? But for other parts of it, you should also be open. For example, um, I'm in Baybas now. I'm shooting. Uh, the place that they're shooting in is supposed to be like a melting pot of different people from different parts of the Philippines. So
Mhm.
in the script, it's written as pure Tagalog. But there are times when I say, because when you're dealing with pit actors, sometimes they can't memorize the lines, etc. And I'm saying, Bisaya ka ba? Oo. Can you say na lang in Bisaya? Because there it's a melting pot of God. And then they become more honest, more authentic, so more truthful. So parang it works. So parang you're
Mhm.
also open to all those things and not being just straight on. Ay, ito na imagine ko, wala nang, hindi na iiba. Ang sabi nga, di ba, si Fincher, you know you're really a director when the sun is going down fast and you have 8 more shots to do, but there's only room for 2 shots. So what do you do? Get rid of the 6 other shots and finish the scene. So alam mo yun, yung parang you cannot be a stickler and say, hindi, 8 talaga gusto ko eh. Hindi, you'll have to find a way at as much as you could. No?
Direk, do you sometimes run your stories or your projects by your family, like by your wife, ganyan? Do you get
Oh,
feedback from them?
my wife is the writer of most of my work.
Oh, that's right.
Siya
Okay.
yung pinakamatigas ang ulo. My ideas aren't worth much pag sa kanya na kasi ang hirap kasi I know the difficulty of a writer is kami na director puro ideas
Ah,
but who's gonna make
pero,
sense of it, it's the writer. So in as much as nagsuggest ka maganda simula ganito sa gitna sa ending ganito ganyan, pero when she sits down to write it, it doesn't make sense. Hindi siya pwedeng umabot dyan. Hindi niya pwedeng patayin yung girlfriend niya sa gitna ng movie kasi it's not enough to kill her. There has to be something more to make him kill her. So parang, di ba, sakit sa ulo sa writer, yung mga direktor. Mga direktor, iniisip lang nila visual, di ba? Maganda, anong memorable, di ba? Pero the writer is the one who makes sense of it, no? With characters, anong next move ng character, ano gusto niyang gawin, you know. Of course, I do share.
mhm.
All of our projects are a collaboration of all our ideas, but probably mostly hers. Pero
I was gonna say,
ano,
Direk, so bottom line, siya po yung masusunod.
oo, kasi si Michiko is a writer. She used to write for TV and then she got tired. So she focused on writing movies. So when you come to her with a specific story, she doesn't want to do it. She only wants to hear like a basic premise, and if she likes it, she will say,
Yes.
"Okay, I'll do it." And then bahala na siya mag-figure out. Ayaw niya na, oo, pero dito has this part, pasok mo si Claudine Barreto kasi sabi ni Claudine mag-artista na daw siya ulit. Dito sa sinato magkakameo daw si Aga Mulak.
Ang hirap nga naman, Direk. Well,
Bawal yun, magagalit yun.
Direk, sabi nyo, kasi nabanggit niyo that your wife got tired after a while. Kayo ba, Direk, when you stopped doing films for a while and went to advertising?
Back then, I had my first daughter. At that, I have 2 daughters um, from my first wife. So back then, my eldest daughter is already born. Was born na nung time na yon. So I had to feed my family. So I moved to doing advertising. And
Okay.
then it became good, no, yung advertising. Ang hirap kaya, an advertising director finds it really hard to go into movies. A
Mhm.
movie director also finds it really hard to make it in advertising, no? And I'm so proud na I was able to move into advertising and stayed there for probably 6 months before I was getting all the projects, no? Dati,
Mhm.
yung iba, years na, hindi pa rin, pa isa-isa lang, gano'n. So that's when I concentrated on advertising. Nagstay ako doon. And then, hindi na ako nakaalis. And that's always the problem. I have advertising friends who tell me, you know, I want to do a movie na. I can take a break. Don't worry, ganun ganon. Sabi ko, hindi mo gagawin yan. I know you're not gonna do it because once you're gone for 3, 4 months, the agencies and the clients forget about you. They move on to other.
Mabilis naman.
Oo. So parang it's hard to come back again. And at the back of your mind, you're saying, I want to make movies. But also at the back of your mind, you're also saying, but I want to stay in advertising as well. Eh, hindi po pwede yun. Pareho
Mm-mm.
silang who want so much of your time, no? Um, di ba? Yun.
Mhm. Direk, I'm curious also about well, syempre, 'di ba? Parang syempre there's always that commercial reality like you were mentioning earlier about, budget. Syempre sa international scene mas malaki ang budget. Tayo hindi naman gaano kalaki ang budget sa
Hmm.
Philippine cinema. But how do you marry artistic integrity and commercial realities? Or how do you
It
balance that?
everyone's saying when a friend asks you to watch a movie of theirs that they finish, and you say, ano nangyari doon, pare? Ba't ganun? Ba't naging ganun yung movie? 'Di ba? Pare, walang budget eh. Sabi ko, hindi talaga excuse yung budget. You can do a small movie, you can do a small budget, so long as you are not ambitious about it. You keep within your resources. You tell your story within the resources you have. Hindi, kasi if you start going ambitious, more ambitious than what you have, yun na talaga yung kasiraan mo kasi pangit lalabas yung movie. No? That's one. And of course, everyone's saying, pinagbigyan ko kasi yung producer, ganun, ganun. Ako, Pia, without being proud of it, because I've had my own share of mga fights with producers, ganun. Pero matigas talaga ulo ko eh. 'Di ba? And I have this formula that I do is give one for them, take one back. Yung parang, if it's not gonna hurt your film, sa suggestion nila na tumatakbo si Kwan sa ulan, oo, lagyan natin ng ulan. Di ba? Because in the end, the more little things that you give them, the more things that you can ask back na mas importante
Mhm.
sa'yo. Di
Oo.
ba? So, give and take. You need, kailangan mo rin maging wais. Kailangan mo to be what I call a smuggler. Yung parang, everyone's saying, oh, action, ang ganda. But then you're already talking about the social realities of the Philippines. You're talking about the cultural themes that you want to inject. Pero pag nag-pitch ka, wag mo na ikwento yan. Let them see it after the movie. I'm not teaching, ay sorry, ba marinig ng mga producers, ganun ka pala. Ganun pala style mo, Mati, ah. Alam na namin. Di ba? They don't need to hear your own personal views of things. They only want to hear what they think the audiences would love to watch.
Mhm. All
Di ba?
right.
You don't need
Mm.
to give too much. Di ba?
Mhm. Direct, you're known for films that speak of, different social issues. I mean, we see that. We've seen that sa On the Job. We've seen that sa Buy Bust. But how do you ensure na yung mga social issues na pinag-uusapan in the film parang magigets din ng international audience?
I don't know. You know, that's weird because, of course, the people in the film festivals, the international film festivals, are usually more aware of what goes on in certain regions of the world. It's their job because their job is to gather films from all over the world and show those films in their festival. So,
Mhm.
without really coming up with a major press release of, oh, this movie is about the ironclad um, offensive of a particular regime in the Philippines, blah blah blah. You don't need to come up with that. They will figure it out. They know how to watch movies, no? And so the balance we're doing from our end in Reality MM and the kind of movies I make is, number one, start with a very local story. It needs to be local first. But the local story does not just talk to the local audience, but talking to the whole world in general. More universal themes, more universal ideas, more international characters and personalities, because that's the only way. When you go too local, it's gonna stay local. When you go too international, the locals will not like it. They're gonna say, "What is this? I can't recognize anybody. They look cardboard. They look like two-dimensional cardboard characters. I don't know anyone from my neighborhood who's like that." So the balance with an international movie that works is, and a lot of the serious filmmakers would not like this suggestion because they want a purity in the way they will tell the ideas of their stories. But at the same time, me personally, the question to the filmmaker is, do you want a handful to watch your film that you spent 8 months to do? Or do you want people to have access to your film that's all over the place? I would love, movies are about, remember, I watched an Italian Western movie when I was 8 years old in Bacolod, not in Italy. You love the idea of someone who's sitting there somewhere in Timbuktu, right? Or in Bangladesh, discovering your film and saying, "Oh my God, I'm that guy. I'm Gerald Anderson. I'm Gerald Anderson in On the Job, exactly like him. Or I'm
Mm-mm.
Joey Marquez um, that's what
Ah.
you want. That's the kind of experience you want. You don't want to make films for your family, for your friends and family. They know
Mhm.
you. Why do you need to make films for them? You might as well just have a party. They must talk about, my ideas are like this. They don't need to watch a film, right?
Oo nga, I like that description 'no, na parang may bata sa Timbuktu na naka-relate kay Gerald Anderson ta's may mama sa ibang d sulok ng mundo na nakaka-relate kay Joey Marquez. So,
Yes.
direct, working with international platforms like let's say Netflix or HBO Asia, how does that affect your overall production? I mean, is there a sort of pressure knowing that you're producing something for an international platform? I know you said it has to be local, but I mean
That's
in
the
terms of the look.
No, that's the danger. That's why I'm saying na parang at the end of the day, 'di ba? Yung Pinoy kasi mapagbigay, 'di ba? No? Nagsabi lang kunyari si Mother Lily, nagsabi lang na, ay, dapat dapat yan may ihakan na kagad. Opo, Mother, lalagyan ko po ng ihakan yan po. Opo, magsasabunot na po sila talaga po, ma'am. Alam mo yon, yung parang ang bilis bumigay,
Mhm.
di ba? The,
Mhm.
when somebody asks something like that who doesn't know the story entirely, you can easily say, and when you're talking to HBO and Netflix, these people know movies more than a lot of us do. They've been exposed to so many content, so many films, so many TV series that they actually talk to you intelligently about what to do with certain parts of your film. Hindi sila yung parang on a whim. Sasabihin nila, gusto ko na lumuluhod sa putik si Chris Aquino. Wala silang mga ganyan. Wala mga ganyang hirit na maririnig. No? But at the same time, you as a filmmaker, if you're clear about the story you're telling, you can never be lost arguing for your film. Yun lang yun. Arguing for your film. And the more additional stuff they ask, it's also mandatory to the filmmaker to say, aren't we making the budgets a little bit bigger? Unless you're paying for it too, I'm good with all the ideas. You get what I mean? Because everything has to be a conversation. Hindi po pwedeng diktahan lang ako or diktahan ko lang sila. Hindi po
Mhm.
pwede. It will be a win-win situation for both. And at the same time, pinili ka nila to do the series for them, then there should be a level of respect that goes with it. And,
Mhm.
a trust that he knows what he's doing. He won't tangle the project. Parang ganun.
Oo nga naman, direct. Ikaw nga yung kinuha, di ba? So, dapat nga
Oo.
parang ipagkakatiwala sa'yo to a certain extent, syempre.
Pero
Nako,
that's what I'm advising a lot of the filmmakers kasi ang bilis nila na
sige na nga, gano'n.
'di ba? Yung parang very Pinoy talaga na ayaw mag-push back. Ay no. Why? I mean in a charming way. No, why would you ask me to, alam mo 'yon? 'Di ba?
Mm-mm.
Because we're all people talking to each other. It's not because you're a foreigner you deal. Isipin mo, I have a friend who did a series. The series is quite short lang because it wasn't made for a particular streamer. Nung pumasok ng streamer, they wanted a number of minutes, that's almost double the original intention. But they didn't ask for a reshoot or an additional shoot. So what they shot was just for this length of a show, but they're asking for double of it. So parang,
Paano mo isa-stretch?
oo, so sabi ng filmmaker na kausap ko, grabe, Direk, hirap na hirap ako kasi kailangan pahabain. Sabi ko, ba't ka pumayag? Di ba? Dapat hindi
Mm.
ka pumayag. Dapat, di ba? Sila
Oo.
ang hingi, magdagdag kayo ng pera, di ba? Pero hindi ko
Oo nga.
sisirain yung, di ba? Kasi hindi naman yan
Mhm.
parang 1 + 1 = 2, di ba?
Ah.
Pahabain mo, maganda pa rin yan. Hindi pa pwede. Di ba?
Maraming considerations,
Oo.
syempre. I'd like to ask you, pick your brain, diba? And
Yeah.
ask you, what is your idea of power in filmmaking?
Hirap ah.
Is the power in the ability
Yeah.
to send a message or the ability to send a message to
So,
as many people as possible?
I don't want to be the serious filmmaker who will mouth all the best things the power of cinema could do to the world. I became a filmmaker primarily because I love the idea of crafting a film. I love the idea of creating. Alam mo yun, yung parang, imagine, a painter has the brush and is only working with the canvas, his imagination, and the brush. No, a musician or a composer only has the instrument and the series of notes that he imagines. Imagine mo ang movie. The movie is a compilation of so many arts, and you need to juggle all of them to make sense of it, to come up with something so bad or something so good. Di ba? Depende naman yun. I mean, not everything that's done with passion comes out to be a masterpiece. No? Sometimes it fumbles. No? The artist fumbles with so many other factors. So more than the power of cinema being able to move people, to convince people, but for a more selfish reason for me, the power of cinema for me is as an artist, I could work on so many kinds of arts in just one medium. Diba? Yung parang, imaginein mo, Pia, a lot of people parang neglect the amount of work that goes into making a film. That just getting a close-up of Sharon Cuneta is, wala, tinayo lang naman nila yung camera dyan, di ba? Alam mo yun? But there's lights in it, there's the music, there's so many things. And then you're dealing with everyone's egos, everyone's feelings for that day of shoot. Di ba? It could have been a different kind of shoot if the breakfast came on time. But because the breakfast didn't come on time, the performance you know, of Lorna Tolentino wasn't good enough. Ang daming factors, and that's fascinating. That's fascinating as a creator, that not everything is in your control, and the power to move all of those elements together and create one cohesive, hopefully cohesive, no? Hopefully cohesive story. Is yun yung magic, yun what keeps me going, no? But of course, together with that is when good cinema is shown, it does not, kasi yan yung problema yung iba eh. They use cinema to talk about just one kind of ideology of whatever socio-political stance they have. Ang idea ko talaga ng when I tackle socio-political stories is really to present as much of it as you can to both sides of the argument, and you leave the audience to decide. You will know. I've seen friends of mine who I did Buy Bust, which is almost like an anti-drug war movie. I've seen friends of mine who argue against the idea of it, and that's valid. That's valid because I liked it that na yung mga nakakainis na mga tao sa loob ng barangay namatay, gano'n. Alam mo yun? Yung, they all have their own stance, and for all of those conversations to come out, no matter which side of the fence you are in, that's good. That's great because you open the conversation to a lot more.
Wow, Direk, thank you so much for sharing that. I hope that for those who listen to this conversation, watch this conversation, next time they sit down in the theater and watch a film, parang they have a newfound appreciation for
Mm.
each film, each scene. I mean, I
Yeah.
know, ako, just listening to this last part of our conversation, Direk, parang naiba yung tingin ko eh. Kasi especially now, yung mga tao, since may cellphone camera sila, kala nila ang dali-daling gawin. Kung kaya
Mm.
nilang kumuha sa cellphone, kaya nila parang iniisip tuloy nila na madali. But with the way you describe it, it's really so much more than what we think it is. So thank you for reminding us about that, Direk. And thank you for taking time out to sit down with us and explain
Hindi,
this whole
masaya, masaya.
process to us. Direk, eto na. Ito yung I'll go through the questions one by one, Direk. Tas kayo na bahala kung gusto yung short or long answer. Is there any film that you've seen that you wish you had directed yourself?
Madami. But there is one particular film that I could have had made it, but eventually ended up rejecting it. And it came out as one of the most classic assassin movie ever. So during the height of On the Job, international acclaim of On the Job, I went to the US and did several meetings with studios. And then I was then under CAA, Creative Artist Agency US. No, it's a managing company for talents. And every other day or every day, they would send you scripts and see, and if you read them, see if you're interested, and then you talk to the producers and see if they like your idea, then maybe you can do it. It's not as easy as that because they tend to go with people they know who are the more popular ones who are but it's worth a shot. And one script that I got was Sicario. I don't know if you know that.
Oh,
Josh
yes.
Brolin, Emma Emma
Uh, Wait,
Blunt,
is it
Emily
Emma
Blunt,
Stone or
Emily Blunt,
Emily Blunt? Okay.
yeah, and Benicio del Toro.
Oh, wow.
So, so yan yung dinadanggal ko na inis kay Mitch. Si Michiko, yung wife ko. I read it and syempre, yung On the Job is a bit more complicated na story. This one feels like a very straightforward, di ba?
Mhm.
So parang it didn't hit me as good. And then I asked Mitch, can you read it and see if tama yung point of view ko na parang hindi ko gusto masyado. I was looking for more intricacies, gano'n. She read it and she said, oh, wala. It's an ordinary script. And then
Mm.
when I saw the movie, when it was mounted already, of course, maybe I shouldn't have done it because I didn't see the potential of it. No? Kaya hindi ba dapat rin na hindi ako gumawa. Pero when I saw Sicario and it was done so simply, but with so much meticulous details, parang, okay. Now I know. So, parang nahiya din ako sa sarili ko na I didn't see it that way, no? Na nagawa ni
Mm.
Denis Villeneuve that well, di ba?
Is that the goal for you, direct to direct Hollywood actors, a
Uh,
Hollywood film?
where it's no longer a goal. It used to be, but the more I talk to international people about doing a purely Hollywood project, it's tougher than what you think. I've had
Mhm.
and a lot of times all the masters, all the great filmmakers that I admire who tried at one point to do a Hollywood movie, turns out it's not the best movie in their filmography. No, you
Mhm.
have Wong Kar Wai who did Blueberry Nights. Yeah, okay lang. 'Di ba? Zhang Yimou, The Great Wall, parang ang pangit ng The Great Wall na 'yon. But Zhang Yimou is one of my favorite Chinese filmmakers. Si Bong Joon-ho, ibang-iba talaga yung Korean movies niya, ang aesthetic, ang feel, ang context compared to the Hollywood produced movies niya, no? Snowpiercer, Okja, and the newly shown Mickey 17, no? So I realized I'm not for that. But more and more, Pia, what's really interesting in these times, more and more now, uh, a lot of people outside of our territory is interested in doing collaborations with other nations for stories that involve two or three countries together. So that one, we're working on several projects that I pitched. We're working on um, projects with UK, a series with UK. I'm working on a film idea for the US, but involving a Filipino story. Yung mga ganon. I think that's
Mm.
more doable
Mm-mm.
compared to an out and out, kunyari The Rock na movie, tapos si Jason Statham, tapos Noypi yung director. Parang hindi siya attainable kasi ibang-iba talaga yung mindset nila eh. Compared,
Mm.
you wouldn't know how to deal with it.
Mhm. Oh, pero how interesting yung idea niyo, direct na a collaboration with different countries, no?
Mm-mm. Oh,
Oo,
we're doing a
exciting.
few of those now. Uh,
Mhm.
there's a few companies that we're working with. There's also a few, distributors that are interested in, a Filipino story paired with a British story or a Filipino story mixed with a Korean story. Not necessarily love
Mhm.
stories because I don't lean towards love stories. So we do crime stories, we do all sorts
Mhm.
horror.
So,
Yeah,
direct, we'll move on to the next item. How would you describe in one word the Philippine film industry?
flatlining.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay, buti na lang nag-interview tayo direct para may marami pang ma-inspire, para ma-revive
I
yung
I I
film
want to start
industry.
I used to have a school
Mhm.
reality film lab. So I'm planning to revive it probably early next year as a school because I think people need. The problem with the Philippine filmmaking is it's all about concepts, but not enough people who are taught the crafting of it. So, for example, when you do an action scene, there's only a handful that I can call now and say, "Oh, please do my action scene," because not a lot of people know how to cheat camera, know how to. Alam mo yun? Uh,
Mm. Eto, direct, who's your favorite filmmaker to argue with?
Siguro ang pamangkin ko na because he can't argue with me. Si Richard Somes. Because I
Oh,
can speak
pamangkin
my
niyo pala
mind.
siya, direct.
Oo. Because I can speak
Oh,
my mind and, di ba,
wala
hindi
siya
ako,
magagawa.
hindi ako magpipreno na, di ba, ang pangit ng paggagawa nito, gano'n, gano'n.
How about, direct, the biggest risk you've taken that actually paid off?
On the job film. So
Mhm.
the second franchise, the second movie, we shot it for 4 years. The budget bloated into 120 million. And then pandemic struck, cinemas were closed, and my cut was 3 hours and 28 minutes. So paano namin mapapalabas yun? And then, lo and behold, I just finished Food Lore and Folklore with HBO. Suntok sa buwan, we edited the first movie and the second movie into a 6-episode series and sent it to HBO. And 4 days later,
Mhm.
HBO said, "We'll take it. How much is it?" And then we'll add your markup to it. So imagine what a movie for 3 hours and 28 na walang sinihan that could have just been shelved na walang manonood, 'di ba? Ended up in a big streaming platform and made money for us. So, 'yun
Mhm.
talaga. Doon ka mapapaisip na parang okay, it's okay to take risks and it will pay off if it's good enough.
Mhm. How about, direct, the biggest or best reaction you've ever gotten from an audience?
Ang laging reaction na nakukuha ko sa audience na nami-meet ko when papakilala sa akin on a talk or kwan, direct, I wanted to be a filmmaker when I saw On the Job. Yan. Yan yung yung
Oh.
mga magagandang comment.
Oo, very gratifying. Parang it tells you you're
Parang
doing the
it
right
makes
thing,
sense
di
naman pala
ba?
yung pinagagagawa
Ah,
natin.
may saysay.
Oo, maganda.
What's the biggest mic drop moment in your career, Direk?
I think I only regarded myself as a genre filmmaker. And genres are usually frowned upon by serious major film festivals. And the biggest mic drop is one of the most difficult festivals to get into is Venice, because Venice tends to be a lot more cinema. They don't a lot more obscure in their choices, a lot more purist in their choices. And I was surprised. I mean, I wasn't surprised when On the Job made it, the first movie made it to Director's Fortnight in Cannes, because they love that kind of thriller, bombastic, third world look. But the On the Job second film, which is 3 hours and 28, for them to have picked up the movie for Venice is a big thing for me. And for us to make it there during the pandemic, when everybody thought no one's, cinema is gonna die, yung parang, oh my God, it's still happening. Movies can still go on, no? And
Mhm.
I'm proud. I was proud of that. Yeah.
And Direk, if your films were a cocktail, what would be the
Kaya
ingredients?
naisip ko na. So, kailangan smoky na matapang, mezcal. Pero kailangan may softened part na hibiscus or something floral like elderflower, mga ganon. No? But at the same time, feeling ko may siling labuyo na naka-mix doon.
May konting anghang. Wow, Direk spoken like a true mixer of drinks, ha?
Hindi, tsaka dapat may Pinoy element.
May Pinoy flavor. How about one thing you would change about filmmaking in this day and age?
In the Philippines or with
Here in the Philippines, Direk.
yeah. I think you know where we are now, where we're stagnating, and I mentioned flatlining because no one seems to want to take the risk, and everyone's on a wait and see mode. Let's wait and see. I want to change the idea of everyone's working nowadays, on movies. There's work to get by. Sobrang daming ginagawang movies. Walang problemang maghanap ng trabaho. But everyone's just working. No one's trying to work on a goal or an objective, not to go to a major film festival or to anything, but to finally figure out what is it that the audience needs to watch in the cinemas. Everyone's just churning out content over and over and over and over. Na parang sa dami, I'm sure ikaw hindi mo napapanood. Ako hindi ko napapanood lahat because there's just too many, no?
Mm-mm.
Everyone's on their own. No one's congregating and talking about what needs to be done. I think yun yung that has to change. What I'm talking
Mm.
about is the craft and the artistry of cinema. Yeah.
Parang the minds have to come together. How
Yeah.
about this, Direk? What is your guilty pleasure film genre?
Mm.
Pwede mo bang aminin sa amin?
Spy movie
Spy movie?
and domestic crime stories.
Yung domestic crime, yung mga ano, yung parang sa Netflix, yung mga
Gun
based
Girl,
on a true story.
mga Gun
Ah,
Girl, di ba? Yung
oo, yes,
nawala yung
that's
asawa,
right.
nagluloko yung asawa, may napatay, akala mo
Oo,
yung bumatay. Yun. Medyo trashy. Pero mga true crime, gusto ko rin, no?
oo.
Last night, sino yung family vlogger? Si Frankie, Ruby Frankie.
Parang hindi ko pa napanood yun,
Ang
Direk.
ganda niyan. Ruby Frankie is the first of a family vlogger. Yung mga anak nila, nagbablog
Ah,
araw-araw.
yes.
Alam mo yan?
Oo.
Tapos
Yes,
nakulong
nakita
na
ko
siya
yan,
ngayon.
Direk.
Oo,
Mm-mm.
yun. Ang
Yes. Yung
ganda ng
parang na-exploit yung mga bata, Direk.
Oo, sobrang ganda
Oo.
ng yan. Four
Oh.
episodes.
Okay. Hindi ko, nakita ko lang yung trailer, Direk. Okay, sige. Since
Uh,
napanood nyo, Direk, papanoorin ko yun ngayon.
yung spy, si Black Bag. I saw it.
Black Bag.
Ay,
Bago lang yun, Direk. Recent yun? Or matagal na yun?
Bago yan. Michael
Ah,
Fassbender and si Kate Blanchett.
okay. Sige. Naku, ang dami kong ilalagay sa
Mm.
watchlist ko ngayon, direct. Dahil I actually like watching yung mga ganyan, mga true crime depends, but I like watching spy movies. Recently, I watched yung kay, hindi ko alam kung napanood nyo direct yung kay Idris Elba sa Apple,
Yep.
Hijack, yung mga
Yep.
ganyan.
Yep. 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 Oo, ako gusto ko yan. Mga aeroplano na nawala yung asawa, hindi niya alam kung saan
Oo.
na. Yung palang
Tsaka,
kinidnap kasi kailangan niya i-detonate yung bomb, mga gano'n.
oo. Pati direct yung yung Paradise naman sa Disney Plus.
Yes,
Si,
I've
di
seen
ba?
it too.
Grabe, direct. Tinuloy-tuloy ko yon.
uh,
Pareho pala
um,
tayo, direct.
yun yung naka-dome sila, di ba?
Yes.
Ah,
Mm-mm. Tapos pinatay yung presidente. Parang gano'n. Eto direct, last question. What is the next wild idea you want to bring to the screen?
a Filipino spy global series. And we're doing it already. We're already in the works doing it.
Wow.
So,
Saan
Filipinos
naka-base
as
yung is...
spies.
Saan naka-base yung Filipino spy niya,
Siyempre
direct?
sa ibang bansa.
Kaya nga, sang bansa,
UK,
direct? O,
UK.
secret muna,
UK
secret.
muna kasi yan yung start
UK.
ng secret agents, di ba? Si James Bond taga UK.
Tama. Oo nga.
Dapat UK.
The land of the classic secret agent. Oo nga
Yes.
naman. Ako, Direk, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sitting
Thank
down with
you.
us for an hour and a half. We super enjoyed this conversation. Critically acclaimed, internationally acclaimed Filipino director na ipinagmamalaki ng industriyang Pilipino, industriyang pampelikulang Pilipino, Direk Eric Mati. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. I had so much fun. Uh,
Thank you, Direk.
Salamat.
We hope you enjoyed this particular episode of Power Talks with PR Kanghel with none other than internationally acclaimed Filipino director Eric Mati. For more conversations like these, don't forget to like, subscribe, and download Power Talks with PR Kanghel on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or the different GMA integrated news social media platforms, or wherever you listen. Till the next episode.